However, I urge all the young people or old people, whomever, to try to learn from me and the other individuals that have gone through it, because it's an experience that you can definitely do without.
Yeah.
You know, prison for the most part is just the biggest waste of time ever. You more or less doing nothing, especially on Rikers Island when you're in county lockups. You're more or less locked down for most of the day, whether you're in a cell or in a dormitory or a housing unit. You're in there with, other than probably a few books and a television, nothing much to do. So it's really just a big waste of time.
Wow. Now, did you witness some of the things that that young man, Khalif Broda, went through? A young man who was in there for 3 years, went in at 16, he was released at 19, but did 3 years, 2 of which in solitary. Could you share some of your thoughts on what are your feelings on that particular case?
Well, first of all, along with the Brother Five, I'm one who stands for the eradication of solitary confinement. I mean, our movement is more or less pointed at the adolescents, pregnant women, and people with mental illnesses, to eliminate it totally for those individuals, and for the individuals who don't have any mental capacity, mental letdowns, illnesses. We want to cut down the time, the mandatory time that one can be sentenced to solitary confinement, because it's an inhumane place. And in my 12 years, I was fortunate to only go to solitary confinement once for a stay of 90 days.
Okay.
But it was one of the most loneliest and helpless feelings that I've ever experienced as a man.
Well, because we are social creatures, and so for us to be denied the access for human interaction, human contact, is horrific. And
it's inhumane. That's not normal.
Yeah.
Like, that breeds, I mean, prison in itself, in my opinion, breeds homosexuality. Because men should be around women and vice versa. If you put a man amongst men for 20, 30 years, I think it's probably very probable that some will turn homosexual.
Okay.
I mean, it's just...
Well, one of the things I think, I from my experience in being incarcerated, is I don't think prison makes a man, it reveals what he's made of. Because you have to have this sense of resolve that you will not let this experience break you. And you have to be able to see a future outside of your own circumstances. So it allows you to have that sense of wherefore that you can say, listen here, this will not, my life does not cease here.
Right, but I agree with you in most situations. I mean, I think the statistic is 97% of the people incarcerated will come home at some point, whether it's tomorrow, 2 years from now, or 20 years from now.
Yes,
however, and that's what kept me going. It was like, yo, I knew I had a date to go home.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, it's gonna be light. When I first copped out, I think I had 3 years on the island. I had 9 years left to do. So it was like I couldn't see the end of the road. I was like, you know, it felt like life was over.
Yeah.
However, I'm here now. You here now. You know what I'm saying? So we live in proof that life ain't over. But it still is a nice number of brothers that I know personally, that I'm friends with personally, that aren't that fortunate.
Yeah.
Who have sentences that are so high, or
they can't physically do it.
Right, or sentences like my man Sharm got in Natural Life, where that's something different. My man Pistol Pete, although he's in the feds, he's got like life plus 60 or some craziness. But what got me through was knowing that one day I was gonna touch. So it was like, all right, we gotta go to school while we're here, because we're gonna touch one day. We might need this degree.
Okay.
We gotta hit the yard, because we know when we touch, we want to look good.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? So that was my motivation. But for the brothers that don't have a date, what's their motivation?
Well, one of the things that we are trying to push now, Harlem Think Tank, Incarcerated Nation, for which you're a part of, we are pushing for a good time bill. We're pushing for a good time whereby people can earn time off their minimum. That's one of the things we're pushing for. And the other thing we're pushing for is equity parole. Equity parole says no matter how much time you've been sentenced to, you're at least evaluated after 10 years.
Right.
Because in a decade, a person can totally change.
A person should totally.
Yeah, but some don't. But at least you should have the opportunity to make a presentation. but
Right.
what you've accomplished, what you plan on doing with your life, and hopefully you'll be considered for release. So these are two things we're fighting for.
I mean, I'm all for that, but the whole thing with that is who will be doing these reviews, because I mean, if it's the wrong people doing them, then it really doesn't matter. It's just
Well,
going to be
one of the things I think, and this is one of the things we also proposed, that a lot of the parole board hearings should happen in the communities in which the crime was committed, because there's a different group of people there that are looking at you as opposed to those who are upstate, don't have any contact with your neighborhood, don't understand the upbringing and
I mean,
environment.
in my opinion, the whole parole board is a sham, only because it's no way that 3 men or women can tell in 10, 20, 30 minutes my progression over 12 years. Because in that 12 years, I might just be a good talker. I might just be good at being full of nonsense.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, or I could be a changed man and not going to do anything wrong. Or you never know. One never knows. And then sometimes you change, and then when you get out here, it's different. And it's like, yo, you might go left from where your initial change was.
Well, see, one of the things I find is a lot of men and women who go through prison and upon release, they think they have been brought into the promised land. I look at it as the book of Exodus talks about when you release from bondage, you go into the desert, meaning that the struggle begins. And that's where your time really begins.
Yeah, I tell people the hard part is